Brothers and sisters, in case you have not heard the news, 2 nights ago, on the Friday night, in the ultimate showdown of the annual basketball game between the priests and the seminarians, our own Father Christopher, the tall guy, was among the star starter for the priest team. He was fighting hard, hungry for a win, and in the end, they fell just a little bit short with a defeat to the seminarian of 47-54. I know. And so you probably know this is the 4th consecutive year of them lost to the seminarians. Now you probably wonder, the seminarian has an edge because the priests are not as young as they are. And like Father Christopher, he prays so hard and works so hard, he doesn't have time to practice. But in my own personal, humble opinion, the real reason they haven't been winning is because they have not asked me to play for the priest yet. So if you see Father Christopher, please give him some love. He needs it. He feels a little bit defeated right now. Those disciples, Cleopas by the name, and the other unnamed disciples, intentionally so we can put our name in it. They felt defeated, hopeless, walking away from Jerusalem because they had put all their hope in this Jesus who was going to defeat the Romans, who was going to bring all this glory, but now he's crucified and he died, and they walked away disappointed, sad. And lo and behold, how beautiful. Jesus came and he walked along with them in their misery as a fellow traveler. Oh, how beautiful in our life when we experience our sadness and someone come and love and walk along with us. And Jesus used the word of scriptures, and most especially in the breaking of the bread, in the celebrating of the Eucharist, their heart began to burn within them. They recognized the Lord, and they were filled with so much hope and joy. They returned to the Jerusalem to go back to the community, and they too serve as fellow traveler and inspire the hearts of others in Jerusalem. Wow, this experience brings me back to a very significant event in my life, which happened not too long ago when I was 12 years old. No, we were getting ready to leave Vietnam. And for a 12 years old boy living in the third world country from a humble family, going to the U.S. was a heavenly dream, especially going to Texas, because we were told that's where you see a lot of cowboys and horses and boots, and it's the place of opportunity where money grow on the tree and the beds are filled with chocolate. So I was really looking forward to leave. I left with my younger brother and my aunt and cousins. We were on the boat. But our hope was not as what we thought. When we got to Thailand, the pirates stopped us and robbed everything. For the next 3 months, we were living literally on the street, begging for food, with most of the night going to sleep with empty stomach. So the Thai government at the time decided to consolidate all the refugees that was arriving from different places in Thailand into one island. So they took us all there. They provided us canned food. They gave us plastic top to build our tent, and gave us machetes so that we can cut tree and build our tent. And I remember as a little boy, I suffered depression. Every day, I still remember sitting outside the tent, looking into the ocean, watching these boats passing by, and thinking to myself, gosh, when are they going to come and pick us up to take us to the land so we can go to the United States and be united with family. Not knowing what tomorrow looked like is very depressing. And they kept bringing, as the refugee arrived, they kept bringing him to that island. And a month later, a group came, and among them were a Catholic priest. And remember, the word got out really fast. Then we got together, and they had a meeting. I was the little boy. I came, and I listened in. They were going to build a church on that island, a chapel. So very quickly, everybody went to their tent and picked up whatever top they had, they can spare, that they can use, bring it to the church. The man took their machetes, go up to the wood to cut trees, and everybody came in to do it. Even for me as a little boy, my cousin and I, we took the water bucket, and our job was to help getting the sand from near the water, carry it, and pull it out as the foundation. I remember counting, we carry 20 buckets of sand. That was our proud contribution to the church. And the day arrived, our very first Mass. Here's a group of people filled with despair and hopelessness. There was so much joy and hope. It was so amazing. Literally, our presence transformed the whole island. And in just those few months, we brought in so many people into the church. Reflecting back on it is a beautiful experience of church that Pope Francis talked about when he commented on the road to Emmaus. He said, the church is not a community that closed itself in the walls, but rather it traveled along with the people who are experiencing despair and hopelessness. And with the Word of God and with the witnesses of love, we reignite in their heart the light of hope. That's who we are. And that's what we experience profoundly on that island. What I didn't realize as well, looking back, was that already during that very difficult time in my life as a kid, God, in a marvelous way, was preparing the little boy dad to one day be a priest, and one day to accompany the people of St. Faustina to build the church. Yes, brothers and sisters, we are going to build the church. Hallelujah. Yes, yes, yes. That one that rises and gives witness to God's presence right here, facilitating encounter for souls with the Lord. Now, for that to happen, there are three things that need to unfold. First, as you hear me announce, we need to hire an architect to help us do the conceptual drawing of the church and give us the estimate cost, which, brothers and sisters, the building committee has been working very hard, and hopefully by this week, we'll get an architect on board. And then after that, we are going to do a feasibility study, engaging the community to see the support and generosity of the parish. And then we need to increase our weekly offering to help us to show that we can sustain the operation and maintenance of that church. Based on that, the cardinal will make the decision about our church. Now, friends, we've seen how the time we're here, we are growing in a way that is so incredible. This past Holy Week, Easter and Divine Mercy was amazing. You were here. It was a holy mess and chaos trying to accommodating everybody. You know, so many lives were touched. Of the whole thing, we only have one bad review on Google. Someone gave us 1 star, and I want to share that with you. This person wrote this. This church takes so much in donation, yet it cannot house the people in the community during Mass. What a good problem to have. People are trying to grow. We can't find place to accommodate everybody. But what this person may not know, but we as a family know that we're actually struggling financially. Currently, with all these buildings that we put together, currently our parish still owns about $5.7 million in debt. And each month, we are paying $130,000 to that debt. Now, I want you to know that with the growth that have never seen in the history of this archdiocese, our faith formation is currently one of the biggest in the archdiocese. With such growth and where we're at, our staff should double. Right now, I would like to bring 3 and 4 more staff to serve this growing community. But I can't yet because of our financial challenge. As you walk in today, how I love to build that parking lot, to beautify our place. And on a rainy day like this, you don't have to go through that mud to get here. But we cannot because of our financial challenge. And what you also may not know as well is permit me to engage the community to help me. If I could ask, let's see, the first 8 rows. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, if y'all could stand. Right here. All across, stand, and on this side too, if you could stand. Okay, okay. All right. I want you to look at this, and this is generous. I want to look at this with all the marvelous things that are happening in our church. Currently, if this whole church right now is the parish, this is the number of people who are financially supporting the mission of our parish right now. 28% of the church. Now, to those who are represented in this group that are standing, thank you so much. Your help makes it happen. But brothers and sisters, here's the great news. Here's the great news. If I could please invite, would the whole church please stand with me? Please stand. Okay. Imagine what we can do as a community if we are all standing and serving together as fellow travelers. That's the great news, brothers and sisters. Yes, yes, yes. So please be seated. And that's what I'm appealing to you today. I want to ask those who already demonstrate so much goodness to pray. I sent you a letter to the community, a heartfelt letter. I want to invite you to really take a moment to pray with your family. Those who are already showing generosity, if you're able to, give a little bit more on top of what you are already giving. Those who have not given yet, to jump on board. Pray about that and give. It will allow us to do so many wonderful things with God's mission. Now, I want to say that as I go in this weekend, this morning, and I prayerfully added more to my weekly giving on Faith Direct. I was thinking that there's a lot of families who are struggling, especially with the economy, with the things that are happening. But I still have the audacity to ask because I am convinced that when we do something that's hard, when it's hard to give and we give, that's when our heart expands. And that's when we grow in faith and discipleship. And so, brothers and sisters, I invite you to pray about that. And I wanted to reflect with me this question. What would have happened if those two disciples have not encountered Jesus, the fellow traveler, as they walked away from Jerusalem? And once they have already encountered the Lord and experienced the blessing, what would have happened to them if they had not come back to Jerusalem to meet the community and there be fellow traveler to lift up their faith as well? So I invite you, my family, that we come together, that we are fellow travelers for God's mission to be a center of divine mercy for every soul that come to us.